Okay, this video will be posted. I will be sure to post this video because this could be the last one that I'm able to make. We're talking about gang stalking, organised gang stalking, which turns people into targeted individuals. This is not a good thing. The people that have done this to me reside in Oxford. They have, which basically is Luke Williams. His alias is Spooks. His friend Garfield. They've also involved Jordan. I'm pretty sure Luke's brother, Aaron Williams, would be sat there with them. You know, so Spooks, his brother, will be there with them. And don't forget, what they are using is basically magnetism and the DDS signals as well. Now the DDS signals, they are pushing into my body, which depletes my body of its natural bioelectricals. These people have done this to others, so I do believe other people are have been killed by this. For they are saying to me that this is the perfect murder. It leaves no trace. They have involved someone called Jesse Belton as well. This has just gone too far, way too far. I was living in Oxford, and they turn around and said that they do not like me. They've never liked me. And this is the reason why they're doing this. And they're not going to stop. They've said, when I was living in Oxford, they can put you into a sleep state. When I was in Oxford, I got street theatered by Luke's friend Garfield. Luke was close by. And also Brandon Davis, he was there. And they street theatered me. I didn't know what was going on. Garfield, at the time of being street theaters, was hypnotizing me. He was all up in my face, and he was basically pushing my consciousness back into my subconscious. And this is how they have done this. They have involved people from London, music people, because he's been saying that PDC will come and kill my family as well. But then I started getting hacked on PlayStation Network, where the lobbies were being opened, and I had no control over the lobby, but it seemed as if I was broadcasting. These people have basically installed this into me over PlayStation Network. It's a non-fixed magnetism which they can draw down and up, and they can heat it up as well and make it go cold, which I do believe that they've coupled the magnetism with the arbitrary waveform, so it can go hot and cold while they're pressing it into my body. They have been saying some atrocious things. They've been saying that they are coming to rob me. This was while I was living in Oxford, that they would rob me. I was told that they would put me back into the coma state, and for me to leave my bedroom door open because my housemates would let them in, so they can come and see me. But when they come and see me, they will rape me while I was in this state. They have been saying that they will come to my mother's house, that they will shoot me in my head and make my mother suck all of their dicks. And basically they are trying to make me live in fear. This is happening in England, UK. Now the fact of the matter is, these people have said that this is how they do. This is how they commit the perfect murder, and no one will know because there is no trace of it. Now the thing is, I know that if they actually do this to me, then my body will hold a unnatural amount of magnetism. They're saying that they've never put this much in, that I shouldn't be walking, I shouldn't be talking, I should be dead already. As I speak, I can feel them pushing it into me again. It's going into my wrist. They're trying to draw some down as well. I've had them pushing it into my brain. It feels really, really weird. They can actually make you feel shorter with this as well. They can augment your bones and everything else. The magnetism, obviously, because it goes under the skin and, you know, near the bones. If you think of two magnets, you can hold two magnets together and they will either attract or push apart. I've had them basically put the magnetism under the skin on my head and create unusual lumps. Luke Williams actually said that he would have my life in his hands and he is going to make me beg for it. I haven't actually begged so far. Well, I did beg for them to stop doing this. I didn't beg to say that I will, you know, beg for my life or anything. I begged them to take this out, to stop. This was at a time when I was at the hospital. Every time I go to the hospital, they falsify reports and you know, the ECGs that they did, the monitoring of the heart. They falsify this. They told me that they were burning the blood in my body, which at one point, the blood, I did have blood taken and the blood from my arm came out black. It was black. The hospital thinned my blood. I've been having these headaches for a long time, and it is to no surprise that it is because of what they are doing. As I've read up on it, it becomes more to light that, you know, these people are creating severe conditions within people. I've been told that they're going to make me a paraplegic, that they're going to turn me into a transsexual, that they're going to make me a zombie. And no doubt I have visited back to Oxford since, like, they have made me homeless, and I have had severe episodes of what they are doing, where basically they would put a high sine wave into my head and snap it. So when it touches your brain, literally your brain doesn't quite function how it should. I have felt my blood drain from my head, from my entire head. I walked around Oxford and it was weird feeling, because I could feel like the blood passing down and it was going to my heart. They keep saying, oh, it's non-invasive, but yet they are saying to me, we are killing you. One way or another, we are killing you slowly. But you know, some of these episodes that they have given me has shown me that this can create, you know, mental disorders. And thankfully, the doctor actually did tell me that, you know, I was not crazy. I have had people come and talking to me, and they don't like the fact that I'm talking to people. They keep telling me, don't talk to people, don't interact with people, look away, look here, look there, look up, look down, don't watch people. Why are people smiling at you? Why do people smile at you? Why do people come and talk to you? Well, the fact of the matter is, I'm a nice person. I don't harm people. I don't interfere with people. I never have, and I never will. They have basically continued this. This has gone on for over a year now. And I've had breakdowns in my friendships and relationships because of this. I've made my family aware that this is going on. Some of my family are skeptical. Others do believe me. And it was only like not long ago that my auntie asked me, well, what happens? If they don't stop doing this, what happens? And I told her, I die, because that is the aim of what they are doing it for. They are trying to murder me. This is a conspiracy government tactic, which is fitting with Luke's alias of Spooks. They're telling me that I'm a dead man, and just sit there and let us kill you. We don't like you. We were never helping you. We were never making you one of us. Now the fact of the matter is, I was in a hypnotized state. So nobody who is in that state can consent to anything being done to them, especially this type of thing. I'm told by them, we don't give a fuck. We do what we want to do. That's why we're doing this. We don't like you. And then I'm being told on another hand, oh, you can't go, don't speak to your ex, don't go down there, because obviously the sea, basically the seaside and the beach and everything would help to reduce this from a person. They're sitting there saying to me, don't. They've stopped me from basically living my life, from being the happy person that I was. I'm still, still kind of happy, but they've caused arguments and everything else. And they find it funny. They do watch and listen through my own eyes and ears, which means I'm being invaded. My whole body is being invaded. And, it is a major invasion of privacy. If you read up and listen to some of the things that gang stalking does, it is a major invasion of privacy. They put a series of hertz into your brain. If you run hertz into the person's brain, then you get the use of, it's basically brain mapping, a part of brain mapping. The use of eyes, ears, and other things. They can try and gain the use of a person's body, as in using their motor skills, their arms and their legs, and trying to make them do things. I've heard Luke sit there saying that, oh, I'm going to make you go to jail, I'm going to have you begging for your life, we're going to make you do things and make you say things. I have been deprived of sleep through this, being told not to go to sleep. Every time you go to sleep, these people are interfering with me while I'm sleeping. They are pushing these waveforms into my body while I'm sleeping. I've woken up with the burns on my body. One time I went to the hospital and the backs of my hands were burnt. I had these basically they were microwave burns on the back of my hands, and they took a long time to it was only because one of the nurses spotted them, and she said, how long have these been there? And I said, they've been coming and going. And she looked quite, she was looking at my face and everything, and she looked concerned. Because obviously I didn't want to get labelled as crazy, which this can do. I didn't say anything, and she was actually concerned about it. And then they moved it away from my hands, so my hands cleared up. But I have been getting a load of unusual burns over my body. They're telling me now that my heart has not been beating for some time. But they don't know what I am, because I keep going. That I've been basically walking around without my heart beating. And I'm not going to lie to you, the British people and the people of the world. I have been feeling that my heart has not been beating. I used to feel my heartbeat. I'm a person who has tachycardia, so my heartbeat is normally high. I had a resting heart rate of 105 to 120. And these people have been simulating heart attacks within me. I go to take a relaxing bath, and they stop me from taking baths because obviously I take hot baths, which I find really relaxing. My muscles get to relax and everything else. But when I'm in a hot bath, they start to simulate heart attack within me, which makes me want to get out of the bath, and I have to catch my breath. The whole vision goes brighter than anything. And I have to slow my heart rate. Catch my breath and slow my heart rate. Obviously, because if you take a hot bath, it will kill and lessen the magnetism of which they have installed into my body. I got x-rays when I went back to Oxford, when I had this symptom of what they done and the blood dropped from my head. I went to the hospital. I walked from Oxford town to the John Radcliffe. I walked all the way there, and I even had to ask directions because I was uncertain of how to get to the hospital. I'm not a person that runs to the hospital all the time, but they have been making me do this. They have been making me pay for taxis and basically depleting my monetary sources after getting me kicked out of my house and making me homeless, because they can affect your moods and everything else. So when I was at the hospital, I had these x-rays done, and if you know about ionizing and non-ionizing radiation, I had these x-rays done, and I felt a load of heat generate within my body. I had an x-ray done sort of on my chest region, and it affected my whole body. I felt this go. It went down and up, and I had sparks coming out of my skin. So therefore, that it must have it lessened a lot of the magnetism, but I think it killed some of my cells. And they've just said to me, "You're not wrong there." Now with the targeted individual organised gang stalking, because they put our brains work with neurons. They have magnetism can pass through them. Now radio waves they are sort of magnetic, hence why they use metal antennas and everything else. So these people are installing, our brains receive FM frequencies, and these people are installing that into people and creating a series of issues, conditions, and it is really, really beyond a joke. They are basically culling the British nation. People that they don't like, they might go on to a system as PlayStation Network. Now I know that since this has been done to me, the public do know. I've heard comments within Oxford when I was there, people looking at me, saying, whispering to themselves that that's him. Do you think they're gonna kill him? And other people were saying that, he doesn't look dead, because these people were saying that I was dead already. I just don't know it. My brain just doesn't know it. And they're just waiting for my brain to catch up so that I can die. They're saying that, some of the things that they're saying, that they are going to come to my mum's house, because obviously I've been kicked out now, not of Oxford, because I got kicked out of my residential place in Oxford, and the police came. They were the ones that I had an injunction brought against me, but they said that I could go anywhere within Oxford. Now these people are telling me that don't ever come back to Oxford. Don't go to London. If you do, you're going to be dead. We're gonna make this kill you. And each time I have gone back to Oxford, there has been strange things happening. A few times I've been to London, and it has had strange effects on my head. You know, it's like they've put some sort of recordings in there that have started to play. But I know it's not recordings because obviously my brain is receiving the FM waves. So if in turn, you know, I've traveled to certain places, it will pick that up, and then I guess whatever they're using will actually switch a certain program on. Now I know that they're not running this 24/7 because I have been to Oxford and I saw Luke in the street. I saw him across the road, and I thought to myself, do I go and you know, confront him? Because if I and then I started thinking, if I confront him, is this going to have a different effect? And to be fair, I would prefer not to be using violence against people, because it's just really not a good thing. So I could hear them talking. Oh my God, he sees. There you are. Like, so I know that these people have used also used gamma into my brain, which pulse gamma waves. They allow you. It basically allows your brain to function at a different rate, and you can hear and sort of, I'm not too sure if you've got use of the person's visual perception, then I guess that it would allow you to see what is going on as well. So it's like future insight. I've read up quite a lot about this, and it's really, it's mind-bending, and it's a disgusting thing that is happening to people worldwide. And yeah, it does make you target a targeted individual. At first they were saying, oh, you're not a targeted individual, we're trying to help you, when I was in my room in Oxford, I was under hypnosis, and one of the things that they said in these lobbies is, oh, we're going to wake him up, which shows that I was under hypnosis. They involved Ollie Dunn as well in this, so it is a pretty big group. I'm suspecting that you know, that they involved a number of people in London on this. They're telling me, like, they are going pretty crazy, saying, shut the fuck up, shut up. Anytime that I talk to anyone, they sit there and say, oh, if you talk to someone, you die. And I do get that feeling of a big sinking feeling. My whole body, head to toe, it starts to sink. They sit there and they've been saying to me, well, we've never been able to make you go deaf or take your sight, but, you know, we will, don't worry. Now, my hearing, I can feel them layering these waveforms, and it is torturous. They layer them up over my ear canal, and I've had my ear canals, both of them, closing. And I mean closing to the point where I cannot get a cotton bud in my ear to actually clean my ear. So these people are doing this to me day and night. I've been heated. When I say heated, I mean, and when I woke up from them heating me, they turned around and they were like, well, you shouldn't be waking up. I've had them making me go freezing cold, to the point where freezing cold and stop my heart rate. Because it interferes with it. And I got a taxi to the hospital, it felt disgusting. And and when I was in the hospital, one of the women and the people, the nurses, they were saying, "Can you please stop shaking?" And I was like, "I can't." I was just shaking. I was pale, but obviously once I got to the hospital, they started my heart again. They not started my heart. They falsified the waves within me. So they're putting the tabs on to pick up the electrical impulses within me, which these people are falsifying. I have, if I take a drink or something, they keep saying to me, "Thin my blood. You need to thin your blood." I have thinned my blood numerous times. They are saying to me, "You don't have enough blood in your body for you to survive. You're going to have a heart attack with what we've been doing to you." Now, one of the things I do know is, and it feels like they have been clamping my veins with the magnetism that they've put in me. Now you could imagine if a person, I'm a person who walks fast anyway, so if someone pinches your vein, say like you had a circuitry of tubes, fine tubes which have been made finer because of the microwave heating that they've put into me. If you pinch veins anyway, the blood would basically back up. It would create a bulge. And I do believe that they have been making me bleed internally with this as well. Because they keep saying, "Oh, we've never done it like this to anyone." But yet I'm being told that this is the perfect murder, and we are killing you. No one believes you at certain times, because obviously I've tried to talk to my mother about this, and they because she's skeptical. She doesn't know anything, she's never heard about gang stalking or covert government tactics of what is going on. So I know that these people are known in Oxford anyway to the police. Luke Williams is known to the police. James, they told me his name was James Garfield. I don't know how much that is, but he's Luke's friend, Garfield. Jordan, he's known to them. They all have affiliations with each other. They've all basically carried on with this, and then I'm being told that obviously because I'm not dying, you can't have a relationship with anyone. If you do, we're gonna make you do things, and we're gonna make you go crazy. That was another thing that they were saying to me. We're gonna make you go crazy. It's not very nice at all. They've heard conversations that they shouldn't have heard. They've been in me for over a year, some time now. They sit there and say that this is how it doesn't hurt us like it hurts you, because we're making it hurt you. So I believe that these people possibly have done this to themselves as well, as a way that they can communicate with the synthetic telepathy. So if one of them's in trouble or gets locked up or whatever, they can possibly still talk to each other, but they don't abuse each other with it. And I heard that they don't keep it in themselves for as long as what they've had it in me for. But I should be dead. still. I shouldn't be walking, I shouldn't be talking. They've been telling me that, oh, you need to stop smoking, don't drink, at one point I was being told don't breathe. If you breathe, you lose blood from your head. And I could feel them drawing blood down. Now if you think, you know, again, clamping a vein on a system, however they're doing it, and pulling the vein down, you could force the blood down the body, which in turn would drain it from the head. They're telling me that they've created the most amount of brain damage on me, that my brain won't work without them. They're trying to make me dependent upon them. I spoke to a woman who is a targeted individual herself. Her name is Anna. She runs a group, and well, I think she runs a group, but she has a petition that I signed, and I would advise a lot of people to sign it as well, so that this can get. Obviously, there is laws against harassment. Now, I've read into harassment. Harassment is, you know, the contacting of someone by any means. It says by any means, but when you go to the police with this, and you're saying to them that people are using radio waves to contact you and talk to you, tell you what to do, and harass you, you know, they look at you kind of crazy. But yet, it just goes to show that the British police are not educated to the fact that our brains receive FM waves anyway. If you put FM waves into the brain at a high rate, you can receive these naturally without a radio. Your brain starts to pick them up. Now, these people installed their frequency of an FM. I'm not sure what numbers it is, you know, so obviously if you're tuning into a radio station, it'll be 106 or something like that. I'm not sure what the actual frequency is that they've installed in me, but I know it would be an FM frequency. The fact that these people have been turning around saying to me that the things that they're going to do to my mother, we're going to come, the fact that they said that they were going to rape me, they're going to rape me. This is while I was in Oxford in a comatose state. I've been on trains. When I've been on trains going back to Oxford, they have basically heaped this signal on top of my head, which it stops you functioning. I have literally died on a train. My breathing stopped. You know, I wasn't tired, and then all of a sudden I had fallen asleep, but it was an unnatural sleep, and my breathing stopped. I couldn't feel anything. I was cold, and then all of a sudden, like, it was like my body, something within my body forced me to take a breath, forced me to open my eyes, but it didn't last long, because obviously when that happened, they loaded more on top of my head. So it's like, you know, they are creating brain damage and damages to my body. They're telling me that they're going to make me a paraplegic. Now, I do have hypermobility of my joints, which means I get dislocations in my joints anyway. These people have been cutting my tendons with the arbitrary waveform, with the electrical waveforms that they've put in me, a direct digital signal. They have been causing nicks in my tendons. Not just in my tendons, they've burnt muscle off of my body also, off of my neck. The fact that I've had it burnt off of my neck And then Lucas said that, oh, I'm gonna break your neck with one punch, you know. And when I heard that, I was just like, my reply was, oh, you know, you needed to burn my body, burn my muscles off, and basically F up my tendons for you to be able to do that. That makes you a hard man. You know, you're gonna damage someone to this extent where I get up and walk and I can hear my tendons actually starting to split even more. So it just shows that they have pushed it into my tendons, and at times I feel them pulling it out. It feels like literally you could imagine sitting there and it feels like someone grabs your one of your tendons in your neck, and they just sort of like twang it, so they pinch on it and just pull it quickly, and it doesn't feel nice. It's in organised gang stalking. It's what's classed as touchless torture. I get them typing on me all over my body. I've had them posting these signals into my anus. Now, when I was in Oxford, it was when they first woke me up to this in Oxford. It did make me seem as if I was crazy, and I could feel them, you know, sliding it up into my arse, and it felt really, really fucking weird. And because I could hear them, and I said, stop. I don't want this. And we're not going to stop. This is what Luke was saying. We're not going to stop. And he was like, I like it when this happens. And he was saying that he was going to make me his bitch, turn me into a transsexual, make me his bitch. I'm being told that I am their property, that they own me. So basically, this is people enslaving people with this. Now, modern day slavery is not a thing that is tolerated. So there are a countless numbers of charges which can go with this. And the fact that you're sexually assaulting me with, you know, electronics as well. You're putting things in and out of my arse. And this is to create, basically, you know, a dependency upon them and dead bodies, sort of walk the living dead. It's not a righteous thing to be doing to anyone. And some of the things that they've been saying to me as well, you know, like how they're going to murder my whole family. And even now, I'm still hearing them, and they're saying, we are. So it is, my brain is still picking up the FM signals that they've done. They're saying that, you know, oh, you need to get rid of them, but we make it hurt you if you start getting rid of us. Obviously, it is a magnetic wave. So if you heat a magnet up, it loses its magnetism, because every magnet has its Curie point, which just goes to show that why, if I have a bath, that they are inducing these heart attacks, because then I don't want to stay in the bath. They said, oh, just take a shower. Now, when I was in Oxford and I was taking hot showers, and this is the reason why they got me kicked out of my house, is because I would always wake up and take a hot shower. So therefore, what they were putting in me was not having an effect on me. And then it was like, they put a lot more in me. They fed a lot more into my head. And that's when it took hold, and they got their desired effect, and they started changing my moods, and basically making me flippant. A lot of my housemates did lie, But I basically got kicked out of my old residence. So I'm homeless and I need to find another residence. And they're turning around saying to me that, you know, leave England. So basically you want to do this to my body and everything else, and then try and run me from your county, withhold me from going to another county, i.e. London, because you're saying that, oh, we're going to make Elijah Kerr, we're going to get him to shoot you. You know, I as far as I'm concerned, I don't know these people, and I've never had any issue with them. They've been saying, oh, we made you sleep with a man and this, that and the other. I don't know. I know that when I lived in Oxford, there were a few gay people in my household. But I also know that they were saying, oh, we made you say things and you don't know what you said. Now, as time has passed, my brain has recalled a lot of things, and they're saying, oh, you shouldn't be remembering that, stop remembering. I felt them being pressing on my skull. They've obviously, if you heat bone and press on it, it's quite soft. So they've heated my body up, they've microwaved my body. Think of like a slow cooked chicken bone. It goes soft. So they have heated my body up to the degree where they can augment my bones, which would have an effect on, obviously, blood as well, which I have heard that this would have an effect on the blood-brain barrier as well. Reading up on microwaved, on organised stalking and microwaved hearing and everything else, it can have a detrimental effect upon a person's brain, whereas instead of your brain sort of functioning right, it starts to break down your DNA. So they have been doing this to me day and night for a long time. I've tried to talk to certain people about this, i.e. some authorities, and they were none the wiser of what it is. And I think it's disgusting that our government does not know what this is, whereas in Russia, Putin, you know, he's a leader who actually does protect his people, whereas our government is not protecting his people at all. Our privacy is being invaded, and the fact of the matter is, some people don't even know that they are having this done to them. Some people are unawares that other people are listening in on them, that other people are seeing what they're seeing, that they are being basically, you know, some people might get like an itch in their backside and just think nothing of it. Well, technically that is, you know, if you're a clean person, which I am. I'm a person who likes to wash and bathe his skin. I like to, you know, have a clean mouth and a clean persona. I've witnessed people in the street, you know, just getting a quick scratch of their arse, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, is someone doing it to him? Has he not been woken up? And it's quite concerning how many people are awake to this being done to them, and if it's the people who are awake to this situation that is happening to them that are the ones that they want to get labelled crazy, that they want to be discredited because they are labelled as schizophrenic or something. You know, but obviously there are countless other people who have headaches, who have symptoms of this happening, but they're not aware of it, and they might go to the doctor and try and get it fixed. Now I'm I would say that, you know, it is a big concern to our government, and they should actually acknowledge this, that this is being done to people. It's a government tactic that has been used in Germany, in Russia. They apparently stopped doing it, and even over here, there's branches that do it. You know, so like, and even these new RFID chips, radio frequency identification, these new chips that they're trying to get people to have in them are a more invasive version of what this is. I mean, this was done to me in my sleep, as I say. I've had them put this into my brain by way of magnetic stimulation. So they're saying that if it comes out, I die. How true that is, I'm not too sure. And I do remember it did feel like something got pushed through my skull when I was in Oxford, in my bed, and my lobby got hacked. Now they used a Turtle Beach headset which has N52 neyodimium magnets in it, which microwaving someone, you know, using magnets, it is very plausible and feasible. It is what, you know, microwave will contain magnets within it. It will contain magnets that work at a certain frequency. You know, it would be a low frequency. So this is what they have done to me. My brain, they've caused some brain damage to me. I'm being told that if I get an MRI, that I would die, that it would kill me, that they might have to start my heart again. These people are, you know, they try and induce the utmost amount of fear into you. Whereas I have had an MRI on my head already. So because of what I've been having severe headaches from this. Now, one of the things that I was thinking about doing was going for a full body MRI scan with a clinical trial of some sort. But, you know, until then, I don't know. At least then the hospital will be able to deal with it. Anyway, I thought I would just let people know, try and make them aware.